Time now for Media Watch. I'm joined by Olivia here. Olivia, François Hollande has been, is it fair to say, speaking almost in a presidential manner, sort of almost outlining what he's going to do when he's in charge, as if he's won it already?
Well, it is fair to say that. He's been accused by a lot of people of acting like he's already the president, like the race is already won. But it's not just François Hollande. We, the media, the press in general, are a little bit responsible as well. A lot of journalists have been...
Surely not France 24.
Not France 24, but other journalists have been jumping the gun a little and seeing him as France's future president before the race is run. Now, France 3, the national broadcaster, the TV station, commissioned one of their journalists, Denis Jambard, 1 year ago to shadow Hollande, make a documentary about his campaign and his win, the socialist victory in 2012's election. Now, what's so funny about this is that a year ago, no one really knew who the 10 candidates were going to be, but this Denis Jambard was so convinced, he's made a film, and France 3 has already planned to show this film on the 7th of May, which is the day after the election. So they're really banking on the fact that he's going to get elected because they've done their programming schedule. And they've sold the rights to this documentary to a number of American channels, CBS, Fox, and NBC, which is understandable, really, because he didn't have a high-profile post before this campaign. So the Americans aren't really familiar with the guy who could be the next president of France.
It's one of these situations that if you saw that in a country that we often refer to as having sort of very poor media rights and an oppressive regime, you'd say this is state manipulation, whatever. But
I think they would call it being super organised, perhaps, being prepared in advance. But there is a cautionary tale for François Hollande, because the Telegraph had an article today saying that, is François Hollande making the same mistake as Neil Kinnock? Now, if you cast your mind back to 1992...
I can remember the actual address in Sheffield, yeah.
Exactly. Neil Kinnock, just to explain a little, he was doing very, very well in opinion polls before the 1992 election in the UK. Everyone thought Labour was going to make a comeback, but in fact it was John Major who scooped the election in the end. So they're saying, really, don't count your chickens before they've hatched.
Indeed, indeed. What's next, Olivia?
Obama. We're going to the US
Barack Obama
now.
in the US.
Now,
another man in the middle of a presidential campaign,
now,
of course.
he's campaigning. This weekend he wasn't technically campaigning. He was hosting the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is a very glitzy affair at the White House. Quite an old tradition as well. It's been going on for almost 100 years. He invites foreign correspondents, also celebrities, politicians, to come along. It's all very friendly. He makes some jokes at the expense of his adversaries, the Republicans. He sends himself up a little bit. And because it's traditionally a press event, he's always got a few comments for the journalists in the room. So let's just hear from Obama now.
And Axelrod tells me I should never miss a chance to reintroduce myself to the American people. So tonight, this is how I'd like to begin. My name is Barack Obama. My mother was born in Kansas. My father was born in Kenya. And I was born, of course, in Hawaii. And plenty of journalists are here tonight. I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate the Huffington Post on their Pulitzer Prize. You deserve it, Ariana. There's no one else out there linking to the kinds of hard-hitting journalism that HuffPo is linking to every single day. Give them a round of applause. And you don't pay them, it's a great business model.
Well, a career as a stand-up comedian if he doesn't get re-elected, perhaps?
He's turning on the charm, isn't he? But if you got him there at the end, he said, and they don't pay their journalists, so it's a great business model. Now, we know the Huffington Post doesn't pay all of their journalists. Arianna Huffington, the editor of the website that recently won, as he said, a Pulitzer for journalism, she's a Democrat, so you think that she might have taken this joke on the chin. But actually, the following day, she gave an interview where she had her own dig to make at Barack Obama, notably about how he's running his campaign. Now, let's hear from her.
Using the Osama bin Laden assassination, killing, the great news that we had a year ago, in order to say basically that Obama did it and Romney might not have done it, which is
that's the crucial difference,
which is the message.
You think the president is capitalizing on that?
Well, I don't think there should be an ad about that. But to turn it into a campaign ad is one of the most despicable things you can do.
So who comes out the best out of this little spat, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, people say that he wasn't as funny as people expected on the night, but I think it was an innocent enough comment. I mean, she can't deny it. She doesn't pay her journalists.
Yeah, I don't know. There's one of these things. If you're not paying people to do a job, how can they do a job? That's what I basically say. Unless, of course, they've got their own motivation and their own agenda. We, of course, get paid here at France 24, so we're doing it sort of straight down the middle and independently. Olivia, thank you very much indeed. Olivia with Media Watch.